I kind of run into some unique experiences at times doing my spike camps or my bivvy hunts. I don't have the luxury of being closer to my camp where I can get the meat on ice or cool down. The weather's really hot, now what do? I use all the methods that Scott had talked about, getting the hide off. I actually bone the meat out. There is ways to bone out the hindquarters and still leave evidence of sex on the hindquarters, so we're still meeting the Idaho laws. Sometimes you run into a situation where it's do or die. It's getting really hot, and you know that meat is not going to make it off the mountain unless you do some drastic measures. This next thing I'm going to talk about comes with a lot of controversy, but if you get into a situation, it may be your only option, and that's to use the creeks. We use the creeks where we hunt at. I have used several times the creek because I was in that do or die situation. The one thing you have to remember though is if you do have your meat wet and that wet meat does get warm, the bacteria is going to breed at unbelievable rates. So if I do have to use the creek method, a lot of times what I'll do is come back in the morning when it's cold, or even come back at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to retrieve the meat out of the creek, because I do not, after it got wet, do not want to subject it to any sort of heat whatsoever. I've got really creative before where for one reason or another I didn't bring a cooler with me. Now I'm back down at the pickup truck and it's getting real warm out. Be creative. I emptied out the whole truck box behind my truck of all the tools, put all the meat in there, and ran to the store real fast to close the store and actually turn my truck box into a cooler. So think about all the options that you have at hand and try to pre-plan for these situations before you have to sit there and come up with a solution. And it'd probably help you out a lot.